Okay, we're here. We're good. I had sorry for the slight delay. I had everything decided to turn off literally the moment. Wow, I am so loud. Yeah, sorry, I have to go to this again. Everything just... Don't you hate it when, like, you've got everything set up, and then everything goes wrong literally at the last second? Like, my headset disconnected, which meant the audio settings that I'd worked so hard to get balanced right weren't set up, and so now you're getting the shitty mic quality from before. It's usual VR streams. Many such cases indeed. But hello! Welcome everyone! This is a VRChat stream. I don't have the ability to check all the chat messages in this situation, but I can see Taco is there, Koi is there, Ria is there, Shogun here, and Beloved Eyes be there. Mwah mwah mwah! I am Ire, I am Digital Red VTuber, and I'm sparing my legs by saying, but behold, for we are in a cool cyber apartment that I found. And now everything is here, everything is working. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to rant about things. I forgot to... Hello, Flame. I forgot to turn off the redeems, so don't do the Gyaru mode or headbat redeems because they will not work. And if you spam them, I will just just take a note. I can't set up redeems to work through VRChat. It's just not something I can do. It's all set up through Wardo, so there's no, I can headpat myself, but I'm not going to count that towards the redeem. That's not the thing. Anyway, because especially I don't have the, I could manually do Gyaro mode, but that would also be a pain in the ass. I don't have the Gyaro mode, any of the Gyaro mode versions imported, so, live with it. I could make it into, like, an actual model toggle, but I don't know. They don't have a VR headset. Will you now? That felt weird. Okay. Come with me. You get to see my wrist drum. And bring you over here. Are you still upright? Yes, you are still upright. Excellent. Saying there. I am okay. I am in this cool... This is a cool little cyberpunk apartment thing. Like, I basically asked some people in another VTuber server, like, hey, do you have any, like, cyberpunk Y2K digital themed worlds? And there was a bunch of them. However, I had one specification that most of them don't meet. Yeah, like, the fucking... Hang on. I can't be... I need to change the camera because it's currently locked to look at me, but we can... Look, the main important that this place has is sitting nodes. Because fucking... I need to bring the screen so I can do it. Fucking... So many VRChat worlds don't have fucking sitting nodes. Let's see if I need to... I can't reach the camera from here. I have to... Yeah. Sorry, you're zooming through the door. Here, we can talk here. So many... There you are. So many... Look, basically, this is just a cam stream now. It's so many... Let's turn that control off. So many VRChat worlds don't bother. They're like, oh, people have full body tracking or sitting emotes. Fine. I'm using a hastily shuffled... to hastily, like, put together VRChat model, not VRChat, Vroid model converted, and I don't have enough Unity knowledge to make custom expressions or emotes, so I'm just like, if you don't put chair nodes, I can't sit on shit because I don't have full body tracking. I might get full body tracking soon because, the, like, basic package of Slime VR body tracking is pretty cheap. And that works with everything, because it's basically a separate program that feeds into other things, and it all works together kind of well. It doesn't really care about what kind of headset you have, which is nice. I guess we'll sit here for a bit. If I need to change something, let me just get my camera control panel that you can't see. There, now you're not automatically looking at me. Ah, shit, I got out the stairs while I pressed the things that I meant to... Yeah. Yeah. Back down. Okay, and... If I put that there, I can... Now I switch the flying controls, and you can kind of like... I can zoom you around... and you can have a closer look at whatever the hell's on this screen. You can look at my hand. It's got a cool microphone. Whilst this world does look very cool, it's not super interactable. There's not like random doodads you can pick up or anything. So it is a bit like just not that that cool. But it does just look very shiny. It's nice. So got that going for it. Alright. Yeah, now you're looking at me. I'm having you with this. I can because if I have the camera set to and I can put it back. I don't know, view the screen. I can put it where the web camera on the screen is. That's amazing. Ah, brilliant. But yeah, not that many worlds bother with sitting nodes, and it's kind of annoying. But as I said, it'll only be annoying until I get full body tracking, because as I said, I do want to get this. I'm probably older that once I get back from going away this weekend. So that'd be nice. I'll be able to move my waist and hips. Currently, it's just my head and my hands. Expecting the door behind you to suddenly open, today's special guest star to show up. If only I'd planned such excitements and delights. But alas, no. There will be no special guests unless someone really wants to come in. I won't. If I get, I would not deny a special close friend. But like, I want to try and do it. I kind of want to try and keep this a solo stream, because I just want to get. I want to get better at just talking rather than. Because I want to be able to talk more. I want to be able to talk about stuff more, and because I worry I'm too. Well, maybe it's a bit me being a bit too being like not so full data, because I don't want to be like, here's all details of my life. But yeah, I want to be yapping. I want to do the yapping stuff. I want to talk. I want to be able to talk about random shit on stream that's meaningless. Well, maybe not meaningless, but, you know, just, like, stuff that's not going to dox me or whatever. But, like, it's hard because half the games that I play off-stream are super spoilery, like, dumping skill points. Like, yeah, I would love to yap to a general audience about Void Stranger, but that's a terrible idea. You should just go play Void Stranger. And then still not be able to talk to, because it's so much. It's one of those games where there's so much stuff in it that you can't be sure if you're spoiling people or not, or everything. It's like, nah. It's like, such is life. Such is life. I did think about, there's a YouTube player on the YouTube or stream player on the screen behind me, so I might go into that, but I'm still like not sure if that's like worth doing, or if like it could risk getting the stream taken down, or maybe it just won't be very interesting. And like I can't like watch someone else's stream without their permission. That'd be silly. Not on my stream. You can't basically restream someone else's stream in VRChat without asking it to a stream audience without asking them. That's silly. But it is fun to like just watch a stream with a friend or two in VRChat. It is fun. I need to do that more. I need to like this is the second half of this plan, of this idea, is the fact to get used to just doing menial shit in VRChat. Like, not hanging out some cool, fancy world that's got lots of interactive stuff to keep me entertained. No, like, I want to find good places that I can just chat with people and hang out with people about, and chatting with chat is kind of like practice for that, I guess. You are the mirror I speak into to learn how to do these things. I don't know if that makes sense. What else am I saying? What else is there? So many things I could say. I need to locate where my water bottle is so that I can have a sip of water. I did not drink. Gonna be a lot of clipping. I did not think about drinking enough water when I was doing the Shadowverse stream with Krungo, when I was teaching him Shadowverse and Worlds Beyond, and I think that really fucked me up. Like, you might have seen a bit of it in the Shadowverse, in my own Shadowverse stream for the weekend tournament the next day. Oh god, my throat was fucked, and not in the fun way. But yeah, no, there's just a lot of stuff going on, trying to get things sorted. I'm getting to the point where I've just realized I really can't keep sitting on my own sulking. I got to be more proactive and more doing stuff. But then my brain's just like, oh, but you're going away this weekend, so you can't be proactive now. It's like, no, you can be I can be proactive. I can, because there's going to be, like, I can organize things for in the future. There's one thing that I was meant to organize a long time ago. Some people in chat might be aware of what I'm talking about because they were the people invited to the thing. But that will come back. I have not forgotten about that. I will sort that out. But yeah, life's just full of stuff at the moment. Everything's just happening, and it's hard to, like, focus on, like, making myself happy when it's just like, oh, the world's fucking depressing. Like, oh, sorry, this gets a bit political, but it's just like, if you want a chill happy stream, you have to listen to whatever the fuck I'm wanting this stream. You have to listen to whatever the fuck I want to rant about. And as a British LGBTQ person, it's unavoidable. You have the dumbest fucking spineless dipshit government. It's like, at least in America, they're just transparently egotistically evil. We're just, like, fucking... Over here, it's just like... shit. It's just shit. There's no, like... It's not a... Kiss Umber isn't a fun... interest, like, not a powerful enemy, not a big fan of the government. Yeah, 30, all that shit. Yeah, it's like fucking... It's such a banal... Yeah, at least we're not the Tories party, suspiciously Tory-like. And, like, I kind of, like, somewhat dislike that argument, because I'm not entirely sure things wouldn't be worse under the Tories in this situation, because I don't think it's a Tory-Labour thing that's kind of caused this state. I think it's a knock-on effect from... Like, here's my crazy political view, critical blues, but I think most of the shit that's going wrong right now is a knock-on effect from Trump getting re-elected, basically. That's the shit. We probably, maybe, I might be wrong, but we wouldn't be having half of this shit if Trump didn't get re-elected. But then Trump getting re-elected was basically inevitability. The Democrats handed it to him on silver platter. It's fucking... That's about as much as I'm going into American politics. But yeah, I'm sure the Tories would also be bending the knee like fucking assholes, but they'd be better at being evil about it. That's the thing, the Tories would just be evil about it. Labour are just being a wet noodle about it. They're just like, oh no, we're just a small country, we've got to do these things because we need to maintain some semblance of relevance because we pissed it all away. It's like, but you're not even doing that. What are you doing? You're making trans people's lives much harder. Well, everyone's lives are much harder, really. By virtue of making trans people's lives much harder. There's no meaningful elections between elected Republicans and Democrats. Basically. It's basically the same over here. Like, a party, the more left-wing party is only left-wing when they're not elected. When they're elected, they're just as bad, but they're in a different way. And it's just the fact that, yeah, it's like one party's transparently evil and one party's spinelessly evil. Like, the only time that... I don't know. I'm probably going to start rambling. I kind of want to stop myself before I say something really fucking stupid, because I don't know politics that well. Society. It is society. It's the systems of power only allow those who help enforce those systems of power, if that makes sense. The political system is in places like, especially places like the UK and America and a lot of other places. Really, it's very wide. This is very widespread, but a lot of the political systems are basically just to perpetuate a specific type of ruling class. This is like idiot armchair political theory, so I might be wrong about things. Don't ever consider me a political expert. Yeah, so many Simpsons bits have just remained true. They weren't prescient, they were just true at the time and they've remained true now. It's just they're more obvious now, where one party is the spine. Every two-party system basically devolves into one party is spinelessly worthless and will bend the knee to any amount of money whatever, and the other party is transparently evil, and they will give each other a feedback loop where the evil party gets too evil and people reject them, and then the spineless party gets too spineless and the people reject them. So he just keeps swapping between the two parties, because then whenever something arrives to try and break that status quo, both parties double down on shutting that out. Like, it said probably the biggest example was, post that said Simpsons didn't protect you. Lady imposed the players now win second right from the pain, which are the two big ones. And says, post that says Simpsons didn't protect anything, just nothing for 6 since 1989. It's true. It's like, yeah, this is every two-party system, basically. In England, we didn't even have a two-party system until recently. We technically had a three-party system. The Liberal Democrats had a decent voter base, but unfortunately, any kind of first-past-the-post system eventually devolves into a two-party system. We just took a bit longer to get to it. Yeah. But yeah, like, you can see just how these kind of, like, the classes on, oh god, I really hope there's not going to be a Simpsons episode where Homer becomes a VTuber. That would be a disaster. You're an intellectual and waste your vote on a third party out of spite against less command. Yeah, that's the thing. The system is just fucked. There's no winning. You vote for a small party, you lose. You vote for the big party, you lose. It's like, fuck. However, I was in a, at least a enviable state where I'm in a, safe Labour seat. One of the safe Labour seats that was always going to vote Labour. It's voted Labour for years and years and years now. Decades now. So I got to vote for the third party candidate that was actually saying shit. So it's a kind of hand-wringing way of doing it, but technically I can wash my hands of, I didn't vote for Labour, I voted for an independent candidate who I knew wasn't going to get in, but I knew Labour wasn't going to lose. But that was an informed decision, and also, so, like, if I had to choose between kicking out Labour and kicking out, kicking out the Tories, I probably would have voted Labour, so I'm not going to, like, stand on a moral high ground there. And, yeah. We're talking random politics shit. But yeah, like, so what I was going is, like, you can see how, like, the attempts to not have these kinds of systems are routinely thwarted by the people already in power, and even the people aren't in power, because, prime example of this is, when Jeremy Corbyn was leader of the Labour Party. You might not agree with everything Corbyn says, but he was still the most left-leaning Labour leader in a long time, and so Labour sabotaged itself. There's a whole big scandal that never had any consequences. It was revealed. It was, like, put in the papers and everything. Nothing came out of it. That Labour willingly sabotaged itself so that they could out Jeremy Corbyn as leader, so that he wouldn't have a chance of winning the election, which also, you know, handed that general election to Boris Johnson on a platter, and and all the disasters that unfolded from that. I mean, Boris Johnson was already leader of the Conservative Party at the time, but he got re-voted in, and it was just like, fuck my life. it's just shit. But okay, that's enough doom and gloom for now, because I'm gonna do a sappy important message to stop us from doing this. Is that I'm going to try. Like, I've been, whilst I can yap on about this, I don't really do much, and I feel kind of bad about it. So I'm going to at least try and motivate myself to do shit. I don't know. Yeah, the Democratic sabotage Bernie Sanders. That makes sense. I understand. I fully believe that. As like, because one of the problems is a lot of this ends up just sounding like conspiracy theories, and then you sound like you're a fucking crazy person because all the major news media outlets are reporting one thing, especially in America where it's a bit more state-controlled than you. It's pretty state-controlled, the BBC and stuff, but we've got a few more, slightly more independent major institutions like Channel 4 or whatever, even if they are also got their own biases and stuff. But, at least I think they are. I don't know. Is Channel 4 owned by fucking Rupert Murdoch? I don't know. If it is, then disregard everything I said. I don't watch the news that much anyway, because, again, it's depressing. It's just, oh, by the way, we've got somewhere you're being oppressed, and also there's still a genocide going on, don't you know? But what's important is, despite everything, exist. And it's hard. It's easy for me to say. I am in a fairly comfortable position apart from my generalized depression. But it is important, I touched my boob, that we exist. Because God, they want us to not. I'm in a very comfortable show. It's very similar to the... No, it is the real chair we've got. Yeah. This is fun. This is fun just chatting. The part that is existing somewhat publicly. Like this, basically all the shit that's going on is what's motivating me to be more outwards. Like, as I said, this was a revelation that came to me, yesterday, whilst staring at the ceiling, thinking about Void Stranger. Just random thoughts. And I was like, I should just do more shit that's, visible and things. So it's good. I'm still doing stuff but in the in the fleshy world, just I need to work on shit. I'm gonna be seeing my parents. I'm gonna talk to them about shit. My parents are nice. My parents are very supportive. That's all good. So again, I am in a very comfortable position. I don't have to it's easy. I recognize that it's easy for me to say a lot of things because I don't have to actively fight against hostile conditions right directly in front of me. Just general ambiance of the country is the problem. And also for all the weird internet ban shit, I'm tech savvy enough to circumvent it without being trackable. So, but obviously a lot of people aren't, and we can't expect everyone to be. That's just very demanding. To oh, if you want to exist online in the UK, you have to know how to use a VPN. You know how to use various script blockers. That's I know how to do these things. VPN's easy, obviously, but obviously you need to know what's a good VPN to use, if the VPN is worth your money, all the other stuff. It's still a lot of stress. It's possibly another expense. It might not be the best solution in the long run, so don't buy, maybe not buy a full year-long subscription, because they might have to... That VPN might get some shit happen to them with the government or whatever. Whereas, I don't say, we say the left, but when you say the left, you mean, the people like Labour, the Democrats, the left party, even though most of their policies are increasingly right-wing. You can argue that there is no left-wing political party. party in the United States and the UK because they've all because the like incestuous power structure has all kind of just made them right wing because they figured out that's the best way to. That's the best way to keep the whole power system in check. So they do all the gerrymandering, all the things. Yeah, they're center-right at best. But when you talk to when you talk to average this is the thing, is like you end up with, whilst we have these political bodies of these things, average person, fairly left-wing leaning. Turns out, most people like LGBT rights, and also don't like genocide. But that's not the story we get given. But so the counter, sorry, I'm adjusting my headset a little bit, so it's gonna look a bit weird. Nah. The counter to all this, the simple counter that has, well, the simple easy thing to say is just like, you gotta keep going. You gotta not let them, hide if you have to, if you're in a dangerous situation, obviously. Keep your self-preservation key, but also don't be afraid to be yourself. Because that's what they want. That's what they want. They want to do that. And if we just keep being, visible, it might be a slow process, but it's better than just letting it slide off. I don't know. I think this is kind of why I don't like doing too much politics talk or whatever, because it's I end up being, how do we deal with this? Here's a really mushy generic message that doesn't really actualize, but I'm gonna try and do something. Maybe one day I'll go to a protest. Maybe I'll start phone calling the fucking payment companies. I'm a MasterCard customer. I can say, hey, look, why can't I buy this thing? Whatever. Hello, next time. It's just but this is a really good, I hope this isn't gonna get this, whatever this background music isn't some kind of copyrighted work. You're living in a red state, at least once I see one trans. Yeah, I see other trans people all the time out and about, but then I live in a very left wing area. It's the only reason it's more the older population of the because of gerrymandering and stuff. I'm in the carved out Labour seat, because they carved out all the because we love gerrymandering. Let's just carve out all the supporters of one team in this area, and then all your supporters of another team in this area, and then that means that we don't have to actually worry about losing seats in any of elections, and third parties don't have a chance. But anyway, that's enough doxing myself. I really need. This is the problem. I was like, people are probably going to start figuring out where I live at this moment. But yeah, I see lots of people giving support, and the amount of people being pricks. I'm fully surrounded by other supportive people, other trans LGBT, or even just very supportive cis people. It's all over the place around me, and it's not hard to find them at all, even when I'm not going to specific things. Yeah, you carve out the 70-30 splits or whatever. It's gerrymandering has been a thing. It's been a thing for ages. I remember the time when the UK someone tried to, was it Gordon Brown or Tony Blair? I can't remember. Someone who you wouldn't expect really tried to, some Labour leader tried to get us it might have been under David Cameron even, I don't know, tried to get us slightly better voting. It was still like most voting systems are very susceptible to corruption, because corruption finds a way. But it was still better than first past the post, which sucks ass. But we failed at that reform vote because they said it was too complicated. Yeah, you want to cancel out as many votes as you can without compromising. See, yeah. It's evil, it's shitty, and it sucks. But on the bright side, we are here. We're alive! And I get to be a big titty rabbit girl on the internet. And that's pretty cool. Hi, Doric. Look, I get to sit in this cool virtual apartment. So no matter how shitty the real world is, we can make time for living life and being ourselves. Like, that's the thing. There's often a sentiment, often a very depressive sentiment of, why should I be enjoying myself when there's so much bad stuff happening to other people? And, like, as long as your enjoyment isn't causing the suffering of other people, I mean, fuck, I've gone off a tangent now. I've overthought about that too much. We can think about the guilt of economics of predominantly white countries and, like, how most of our technology is made using very hazardous materials under slave labor, but, I fucked up. I fucked up my positive message. I feel like I'm being like some kind of very rant sona now, like just talking to the camera, being like, "Yeah, oh maybe I could." Yeah, get what you mean. We can make the most out of what we have, and then by enjoying ourselves and living life and existing, we can. Yeah, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism or whatever. Which is why it's okay to steal a bunch of shit. It's important to have the best time so you can other people try their best too. Yeah, like, you exist and you be happy to help other people, and you can use that to help other people exist and be happy. Like, either if you feel happy, you can possibly go out and do volunteer. You can do many things that you couldn't do if you were depressed and sitting alone in poverty. So you just have to, like, think about what you can do, and even if you can just be, like, existing as who you are, that's fine. It's like, as long as you're nice to people, that's still a net positive. And as long as you're nice to people without, like, forgiving people who are, like, actively evil. And that's, like, a whole, like, paradox of tolerance or whatever. Anyway. I had another thing to say of this positive message, but I've forgotten it. Oh yeah. On the subject of there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. Thusly, it is always morally correct to, if you can get away with it, steal from people whose net worth is higher than you. You don't like obviously you can argue there's exceptions, but, like, for the most part it works. I'm gonna get banned for this. Oh. It's like, all this is like, what is this thing? What is the moral of this story? Steal shit. And I'm like, Tesco is going to be just fine. But, like, also it's going to be hard to steal from a Tesco, so again, don't take this as advice to go around doing shoplifting. Like, shoplifting usually it doesn't work out pretty well. It's very easy to get caught shoplifting, and you can get in a lot of trouble for it because some of the consequences of it is. But, you know, like, say, if you want to watch a new anime, and you don't want to pay the shitty streaming companies... You know, things people attempt at me saying there's no ethical consumption, saying don't try this, don't let shit you can't ultimately control hold you down and just do what you have to do. Exactly. Like, there's some things you can manage, like you can say, oh, okay, maybe I won't buy that brand and or whatever. And so you're not punishing a corporate. Yeah, shoplifting usually results in the staff there getting more punished, and also it can result in other customers getting punished for it. So, like, as again, depends on your situation. If you're able to buy things from, like, a Tesco's, then you probably shouldn't shoplift from a Tesco's, because, like, that's just not great. But if you want to say, if there's, like, say, you know, again, this is more, like, to do with, like, the sorry state of... It's mostly involves the sorry state of, like, online streaming shit. Yeah, you're not sticking it to the man by making someone's benefit. Steal when the only victims are people who are far, far richer than you. Like, pirate anime, download that fucking AAA video game. Just don't, if it's made by problematic people, don't fucking promote it or whatever. Just play it on your own time. That kind of shit. I would say steal Adobe products, but like Adobe products have become so shit with AI now, then you probably should just go for alternatives anyway. But are you in Skyrim AAA games because they're taking on hard drives store nowadays? True. That is also true. Pirate old Adobe software, yes, before they shoehorned all their crap into it, before they shitified it. Are you against pirate AAA games because they're crap? True. Most of them are in fact hot garbage. And the same shit you see everywhere. Like, okay, now we can go on to more petty rants. Now that we've segued into... You got a new schedule on VGen? Nice. Yeah, I hope you didn't have to pay some outrageous Adobe cancellation fee, because I know that just sounds like something that is... If something is... Yeah, like, if something is, like, buy good little indie shit, buy your fucking small games, buy that kind of stuff, because those people need your money. Because they're making good shit, they're making art! And if it's not there, but that is fairly good, actually. That is a fairly good reasonable things. Like, there are, like, unlike... I suppose there's, like, that's the difference between, like, pirating games and pirating animes. Like, small, good games are generally worth your money. And, expensive, bad games aren't worth downloading. Also, do be careful, because Nintendo has a death glare on the pirates. That is also true. But like this is like I'm obviously come back to like shit like fucking Crunchyroll doing a shit job at paying anyone involved in things. Pirate music, pirate anime, pirate movies. All of the streaming services are bad and don't actually give money to the creators. So anything on a streaming service is fine to pirate unless it's that one like educational streaming service. Fuck. But any like major big corpo streaming service, all your Crunchyrolls, your Disney Plus or whatever, all that crap, steal it. Cancel your Netflix subscription, cancel your Disney Plus subscription, steal all that crap. Buying it doesn't give money to anyone. Like, buying a fucking sub doesn't fucking give anyone any money. Anyone who actually made the stuff of any money, and mostly just encourages the studios to make crap specifically for streaming sites. VRChat is apparently for the unhinged bunny rants, you see. I was going to say something stupid about... Yes. I am so tired of seeing people I'm supposed to respect playing crap AAA games. I give you $15 to some fine people in Netherlands for you to black hole all your media passes through. Yeah. Like, I'm sick and tired of having to be nice to people who think the Silent Hill 2 remake is good. Pisses me off. I've probably ranted enough about Silent Hill 2 remake. People like, I haven't even played. It's one of those things like, I haven't played the game. I've only seen bits and bobs from other streamers, and everything I've seen makes me think, wow, why the fuck would you play this over the original Silent Hill 2? It adds nothing of value, and is just more expensive. Except that you can't legally buy the original version of Silent Hill 2. It's more than twice as long, as from what I've heard. It's like 3 times as long. And people go, oh, it's amazing, it's incredible. It's like, fuck off. You can play Death Stranding. Death Stranding's allowed because it's fucking insane. Yeah, no, don't get the remake of... Again, I've said this many times. Don't get the remake of Silent Hill 2. Don't buy anything from Konami. Why are people giving Konami grace again. They're still being shit. Honestly, you see a playable, attractive black woman in the game, I'm definitely going to play as her. That's fair. That is completely legit. If you want to see your kind of favorite kind of person or like yourself represented, you can. Obviously, I'm not going to stop you. And yeah, Konami is just nostalgia peddling at this point. They weirdly imitated out pirating our games. I'd rather play a pirated game on its OG hardware. Like there's like a lot of legitimate reasons to play on OG hardware. Like emulators are really good right now, but they're still not perfect. Even like something like a Mister isn't going to be that like precise, exact copy. It's going to be very close, but unless you need the original hardware to get all the right things. Even like something like a Mister has a slight, tiny, almost imperceptible emulation delay. As is, who you YouTube as doesn't have to represent it exactly. As long as there's always like a fine line on that part, like with people like cultural appropriation and whatnot. But as long as you're not like going like, oh, I am. Like, you can have your anime VTuber, you can have a Japanese-style name, and that's not cultural appropriation. It's cultural appropriation if you start, like, pretending to be Japanese when you're not, or whatever. That's, like, the line where you cross it, really, I think. But then, I'm not an expert on those kind of topics. I'm a white British idiot. So, don't, like, I will happily, if someone of actual qualifications, I'm very unqualified to, like, make full judgments on that kind of thing. That is not for me to say. But, don't... Where's my water? I'm thirsty. Where'd I put my water? I put it on this side. Yeah. I'm trying to guide the water bottle to my mouth under the headset. But yeah, it's all there's all kinds of stuff about that, but that's not really not really a topic I feel like willing to like weigh in on, just because, like I said, it's not for me. Only you're a purple fox girl IRL, if only. Thankfully, I am a tall white bunny girl IRL, so. Yeah, got mine. Yeah, I'm just... well... There's a funny few things about this world. I don't know if I can be bothered to show off. But, like, they've got... speaking of... They've got a bunch of, like... a bunch of the props are just like actual manga and other stuff. And they've got fucking 1 billion volumes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Up here. Hang on, if I... Stop that, so you're not locked into looking to me. I'll send you over to show you it the wrong way. Yeah, you see there's this whole list, you can see the Final Fantasy XIV stuff. And apparently, whoever made this world is a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! So, a series called ARMS, which I've never heard of. And Terraformars, the series about somewhat awkwardly designed giant roach people. So we'll move on. Look, there's the fucking... Not more... Final Fantasy XIV stuff. You're a big fan of having arms. Yeah, I don't know. What do we have here? We have more Terraformers. some other stuff. Wow, this is where like I show you you crap on things, then you're like, oh my god, there's some horrible literature here and ruin this world forever. But hopefully not. Hopefully it is just like hopefully the most suspect thing. You can have a look around the place. Maybe we should move somewhere else. Maybe we should have a sit somewhere else. I don't really know if they want to like visit a bunch of other worlds or stuff. There you are. I'm gonna set you to look at me. Give you up. You stand up. Yeah, you stand up around there. Yeah. And then if I stop that, and then I stand up. Like, I think the only other place with the sitting nodes is done. You only need a fridge? I'm hungry. Let's see. The fridge doesn't open. The unfortunate thing, despite how cool this this world looks, it is not actually very interactable. It's like it's all which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, I want to sit down here. There's the sitting chair, and then right, get over here, you. Yeah, no, down, calm down. There. There you are. You're relaxing in this chair. Hang on, I need to move a few things and do this. Enter into a meditative state so I can move. No, don't move that way. There, now I can see. Now I can look at you. And the top. But yeah, this is fucking. It's just how it is, isn't it? That's life. And can I interact with the... Damn, it's too far away. There's a switch to change the theme of the room. The color scheme of the room bit. And it's, but I can't activate it from here. I mean, I can just walk over. Hang on. Wow! Just like that. Dark mode. And there's this bitch of a VR. Hang on, I need to... I'm basically moving the overlay for the for the window I can see OBS in to be on the camera. So while I'm looking at OBS, I'm looking at the camera. But yeah. Need to get some stuff to have a nice rest of the stream. Nice to come in and sit for a bit. Thank you for coming indoor. Bring my little roll panel down to there. But yeah. No, like it's... Okay, thinking, oh, what kind of like random other news can I talk about? Like good happy news, but like all I've really been doing is like thinking about Void Stranger, and I can't fucking just talk to you about Void Stranger. Some people, it's not going to make sense to people who haven't played it, and it's going to spoil by people who have. Hi, Laha, we're just chilling, we're just relaxing. You do gotta play Void Stranger, ISV. Great, it's amazing. Hurts my brain. The real brain pickler, that one. I need to just like get back to playing more good shit. I haven't been keeping up with any kind of news of this past. I haven't seen the sun. That's possibly going a bit far. You probably should see the sun. Seeing the sun is generally pretty good unless you have some terrible skin condition that makes seeing the sun kind of bad, but like no. Sun, good. Like obviously the weather might have... I'm so dependent on seeing the sun, I have one of those lamps. Because otherwise I get really fucking depressed in the winter months. Here I have a lamp that mimics the brightness of the sun, so I can just light up my whole fucking room. And it's like it's the even the darkest of nights, I can make it the middle of a summer's day. Really should start using it more. It's been getting like it's not been like dark, but it's been a bit cloudy recently, so I've had to like I probably should put it on. That's probably affecting my mood a little bit. But yeah, hopefully I'll be getting more stuff done. I'm happy with how the Shadowverse lessons are going. Like I've only had the one so far, but honestly that's more than I was expecting. The big thing I was dreading that kind of like put me off putting it up for a while is, of course, what do I do if no one fucking signs up? No one fucking offers for it, and I've just put out this thing and I've been annoying about it for months and no one's offering. It's like, oh, who the one to play fucking Shadowverse? Some fucking gacha card game nonsense. And there's like, I have to contend with that moral factor. There's like, am I a bad person? But like, it's really not a moral quandary. It's really a kind of like a shit thing. But how my brain works, it goes like, am I a bad person for getting people into Shadowverse because it has gacha mechanics? And then I'm like I have to keep that in mind. Part of my lessons is like, don't fucking spend money on gacha stuff. You do not need the leaders. You do not need any of the other shit. If I have a friend who spends things. You can pay Shadowverse if you want, ISV. You don't have to. It's not gonna be a massive effect on your life unless you're insane like me. It's not gonna give you the artistic merit compared to something like Void Stranger. But I would have a lot of fun teaching you, so. But yeah, like if I think the worry I have, as long as I'm not streaming Horse Girl game, it's easy. Like that's the thing. At least it's a card game, and you've kind of like you've got the kind of social. It's got like kind of gacha bits with the leads and stuff, but like in terms of like actually getting a deck together, it's not like, oh, you got to have this seasonal card. It's like, oh, you got to have new cards, and getting new cards is a reasonable process because it's a card game and they want people to keep playing it. And like, despite all the negative review, I'm still kind of pissed that the net reviews if they remain so negative, but like no one who cares actually leaves Steam reviews, so fuck off Reddit. It's so much Reddit, Like, here's the thing that I've probably said before, is that you can never, ever trust the Shadowverse Reddit on anything, because they are the worst Shadowverse players in the universe. Well, in the world, unless there's Shadowverse in space or whatever. They are, like, I have seen, like, you have to understand, because it was one of the few places you could talk about Shadowverse that had people talking about Shadowverse. Especially in classic Shadowverse, I've had to check in with Reddit to keep up with card reveals, to keep up with other things, meta changes, because that's where people would post layers. Like, I didn't trust Reddit. I mean, nobody should trust any Reddit, but the Shadowverse Reddit is... I am the one of the experience of looking at the Shadowverse Reddit, and there was, for years, for almost the full decade of Shadowverse Classic being fully alive, the Shadowverse Reddit has been the hive of the worst plays and the worst decks and the worst meta predictions of any card game I have seen in the universe. But then I haven't got that much experience with it. It's probably worse than the Hearthstone subreddits, to be fair. But like, oh my god. I could reliably trust when a card was revealed and the Shadowverse Reddit thought it was OP, that card was trash. That's like, it was literally like, I always do the opposite of what our Shadowverse says. Because they were that wrong. And they would complain about the dumbest stuff. And they'd be like, oh my god, Cygames didn't nerf this thing that was really overpowered. And it's like, of course they wouldn't fucking nerf it. That wasn't the fucking problem of that deck. You idiot. They nerfed something that made sense. And now they're like, I can't do the... They've obfuscated a bunch of the free-to-play mechanics behind a bunch of weird stuff. And like, of course they have. Everything has been getting more expensive, haven't you noticed? It's like, of course it's not going to be the same price. The world's fucked. But also, it's just not so much shit. This shit is just not worth complaining about. And it's like, so many people are still claiming it's like, oh, you've got to have all the bloody legendaries, all the bloody things. Like, no, you don't. You only need a full meta deck if you're playing in fucking Diamond Sapphire group. You can quite happily compete in Ruby with a budget deck. And Ruby's fine. It's fine to be in Ruby. Just enjoy being in Ruby, for God's sake. You weirdos. I need to move my chair over. I'm a bit misaligned. Like, yeah. You don't need a billion guys. And also, it's not that hard to get the cards you need unless you want to play literally every deck. Just pick a deck. Pick a deck and stick with it. Even the low-tier games can be fun. I've been playing a bunch of games are done truly, but these are the ones I have experience with, so I can rant about them. And they're the ones who make recommending Shadowverse Worlds Beyond really annoying, because I'll recommend it to a friend who I think will enjoy it, and then they'll look at the Steam reviews and see, oh, mostly negative, and I'm like, yeah, that's because Reddit are fucking piss babies. And I'd rather not have to say that every time I talk to someone about Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Reddit doesn't even like the lobby. One of the best goddamn things about the game, that they don't like the lobby because they're idiots. Maybe it's because they keep going 0-4 in the weekend tournaments. Like, you can get loads of free shit in Shadowverse. You just have to not suck. Because you get a bunch of rewards for doing well in the weekend tournaments, and you can get a shitload of rewards doing well at Take-Two. There's no accounting for taste or aptitude. Yep. Scalpers as bad as CSOs and will stop at nothing to make more money. That is true. It doesn't... This has nothing to do with scalpers. This is a digital card game that no one can scalp, but that is true. But hello, Vic Skywolf. Blah. But yeah, it's just there. It's always been the thing, because and it's also very much like looking back at something that people say was really generous, but actually was probably less generous than you're thinking. There's in my experience of playing old Shadowverse, you couldn't really make that many new decks. The only main difference that people are complaining about is, oh, you can't vial your own cards. That hasn't even come into vial cards unless you have 3 into them, but until rotation starts happening, that's not a big deal. It's good to have a large collection, because then you can experiment with more stuff. It's a very reasonable... It's not a greed thing, it's an actual sensible idea. Because that was a problem with the classic Shadowverse, is you'd just have your one deck, because you'd vial everything to make this one deck, and you wouldn't care about other classes or other things, and that leads to a lot of people having the idea that you only play one class for their entire Shadowverse, which is terrible. You should play many classes. I play Portalcraft a lot, but I still like playing other classes. I've been playing a bunch of Dragoncraft today, because I found that there's kind of Dragoncraft's been kind of in the current meta. Just a general reference is Dragoncraft is considered the worst class. Was after the initial week of shit happening, the Dragoncraft was considered the least performing class. It didn't do particularly well. Thank you for the follow. Dragoncraft was considered the weakest class. It did very poorly against most of the meta decks, and it was I would agree that it was a low performer. But now people have started started to like get the balance right. Like you don't, like people have gone, okay, so all you heard was card game and prices. Yeah, no, we're talking about Shadowverse, which is a digital card game, and thankfully, which means it can't be scalped. It does mean they can, like, there is some annoying bullshit they do, like the fucking premium currency nonsense. But I think as much as we want to hate with the premium currency nonsense, I don't think it's one of those things I don't think is going away anytime soon. Like, these laws, a lot of these laws aren't. The problem with the premium currency things is if these digital games have their if these stuff has like any way to give you free currency as compensation for something, or if they're like, or it's a giveaway or something, or especially for dealing with multiple currency zones, different storefront purchasing through different storefronts, like anything on phone has to be, you have to be able to spend money through both the Apple App Store, which takes a different cut, to the Google App Store, and then a lot of these are being somewhat circumvented by letting you buy through their own website, but then not on every game can afford to maintain that. So it's like it's complications caused by capitalist bullshit. So it's bullshit, but it's like you can kind of understand why the bullshit happens, and then they use some of that bullshit to advantage as it is to make the actual like levels of stuff you can buy. But like that sucks. That always sucks. I will always say that sucks. But that was also a problem with base Shadowverse. So it's not a new thing. Not a Worlds Beyond new scam. It was a scam before, and it's a scam now, where you have like, oh, you can buy 400 crystals, but the thing costs 500, so that you have to buy like weird, awkward packs because the next pack down is 90 crystals, because fuck you. But like, that's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, it sucks, but I've seen the people complaining here. They have allowed that shit in so many other games. Like I put it in the fucking video title that this was going to be a rant stream. In the video title, that you're just sitting here me watching ranting. I'm trying to get better at talking, so the best way to keep talking is to keep ranting. But yeah, now that I've ranted my way into bringing up Shadowverse, I get to do my hyperfixation. So it's less about a rant and more about a ramble, where I get to say, people saying Dragoncraft is worse, but actually Dragoncraft is starting to make a bit of a surge, as people have realized, okay, so again, a bit context for non-Shadowverse players, Dragoncraft is the ramp class. It is the class that accelerates the like resource you use to play cards with. So like in Magic the Gathering, ramping is getting additional lands. In something like Shadowverse, is increasing how many play points you have, which then ticks up for the team. No, I'm not salty. I'm happy. But yeah, but the problem is with these early sets, you don't have enough cards, and Dragoncraft just doesn't have consistent enough cards to rely on ramp. It's a very high roll. You have 2 cards that ramp your play points in Dragoncraft, which is just slightly not enough. You're just slightly not quite there yet. So what people have done is going, okay. And the aggro Dragoncraft isn't really holding up so well. Like, going pure aggro isn't holding up so well, because it's just, it is just, not quite as fast as other competitive aggro decks. Like, Abyss aggro is a lot faster than Dragon aggro at the moment. So it's like, why would you play Dragon aggro over Abyss aggro when Abyss aggro will kill you every time? And then you might not have the burst power to finish off like other tanky classes, and you also don't have a big ear yapper. Apparently now that's what I am. But so again, people have figured out that, okay, what about a mix? What if you go... What if you have a little bit of ramp, but you don't go for the big expensive cards. You don't go for Fenny. You cap out at like 8-cost finishers like Garyu and the Sharkman. You don't go for your Genesis Dragon, your Twilight Dragon, or Avatar, all the big stuff. You just say, okay, I just want to ramp a little bit. So you only have the base ramp card, Dragon Sign. Maybe you have one copy of the other ramp for a bit of security. And yeah, if your plan is to only ramp once, then you can actually make it a pretty consistent. Because usually in a big Dragon ramp deck, you want to ramp 2 or 3 times. That's like how it's typically gone in older Shadowverse Classic matters. But it's hard to do, and basically how you kind of would have to do it right now. But that's slightly too unreliable in the current meta. Because you kind of want, for that to be reliable, you kind of want like 8 ramp cards, and currently you can only have 6, so it's not quite consistent enough. Whereas I think I'm kind of like pulling the number 8 out of my ass there, but you get the idea. It's somewhere between 6 and 9. Nice. But yeah, so I tried out one of those. I had to try a budget version because I only have 1 copy of Forte and I don't have any Phyllenes. So I just replaced the Phyllenes with Apollos, replaced 2 of the Fortes with the shark, the fish that gains Storm and Overflow. And yeah, it's worked out pretty well. I've beaten a few minutes. I beat a Roach deck, I beat a Dragon deck, the deck did lose to a Wardhaven deck, but then so it goes. But yeah. So yeah, I think I need to remember to forward. I should probably forward that list to Krungo, because Krungo wanted to play Dragoncraft but wasn't having a great time with it. So if I show Krungo the deck lists that are having some, like, it's still not a top tier deck, but it's still like it's definitely a deck you can ladder with, and that's cool. You've got such a variety of decks you can win with. People are like, oh, there's only 2 decks in the meta. No, the gap in the meta between the top tier and the bottom tier is smaller than most people think, and that's a sign of a good game. Anyway, I have a quote to read from Absinthe here. Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling salt, the floor salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt. And you can breathe that in, and you can constantly taste the salt. Down here, salt is a way of life. Yeah, like, someone I know who was playing Shadowverse and wasn't having a great time with it, they were coming into it from being someone who used to like Hearthstone, and whenever they described what they liked about Hearthstone, I was like, this sounds miserable, because they liked the fact that Hearthstone games could go on for fucking ever. Hang on. There, I found the bottle straw, eventually. Because, of course, Hearthstone doesn't have... Because where most sensible card games go, if you deck out, you lose. Hearthstone says, if you deck out, you take an increasing point of damage. So the first card you draw the first time you try to draw when you don't have any cards in your deck, you take 1 damage, and then 2 damage, and then 4. I think it doubles every time. I can't remember. It's been a while. But this means that burning your opponent out of cards is a viable strategy, especially for classes like Priest that could heal up and survive. It's only +1? Wow. What the fuck? But yeah, that means it's really easy for a class like Priest to just be focused on running both players down to no cards in their deck, in which point the other player goes, oh, I don't have any cards, I can't play anything, and the Priest goes, I can't play anything either, but I can keep healing myself. You know, being rolled by meta strategy games, like that can happen in a lot of card games, to be honest. You're going to get your ass beat first few times. At least in Shadowverse, you've got a lot of... One of the nice things about Shadowverse is it has a very... Yeah, the priests have a card to set their HP to 40 or something? Fucking nonsense. But yeah, so like, yeah, Million Hearthstone was pretty rare. Like, there was very few cards that kind of like do it well. But yeah, quests are back. Oh, sure. I remember there was a large period of time where I didn't play Hearthstone, but I did watch people play Hearthstone for some reason. Like, I'd watch edited YouTube videos of streams, basically. And the two people I'd watch, and I don't know if these people have been cancelled or whatever, I haven't really checked out, were, Firebat and Brian Kibler. I don't know why there's those two, but I just found them entertaining to watch. And who knows? I don't know what they're doing. Like maybe they've done Far Right Grift. Who cares? I don't know. More classes, yeah, because I remember Druid had a card that was like destroy a follower on the board, destroy a creature on the board. Your opponent draws 2 cards, so Druid could effectively pseudo mill with that by overflowing your opponent's hand and making them just draw way more cards, and so you would deck out faster. Yeah, Naturalize was like destroy a creature, your opponent draws 2 cards. Because it was like, it cost 0. So it was like you getting I don't believe either of them cancelled. That's good to hear. Good to hear neither of them became like weird and just continued being people that got divorced. Like, I knew he was married, but I don't know shit about. I'm not gonna weigh in on his personal life. You can leave that shit to his own stuff. That has nothing to do with me. But yeah, so I'd watch a lot of others. That's kind of like how I knew about. So I knew a lot about Hearthstone despite never playing it, because I never wanted to play it, because I'd watch these YouTube videos and be like, wow, a lot of this shit is coin flips. And like, there's like RNG in a card. There's inherently RNG in a card game, but Hearthstone's kind of like, big example is lots of target enemy effects could go face, rather than just like targeting creatures. So if you're in an early game board state and you have a player and you play a follower that's like deal 1 damage to a random enemy, that can go face. Thusly, that can not help you control the early game of the board. So if it goes face, you have a worse position on the board, and then things can spiral out from there, because Hearthstone is very tempo-based, because there's... And so the Crip, I remember them talking about Crip and Trump, not the most unfortunately named card game player, who's just like who took the online name Trump for like basically a card game reason. Like, Trump is a type of card game, is a kind of like it's a term. So you have your Trump card, you have Trump suits in like trick takes and whatever, and now he has to deal with bullshit and he can't rebrand. He's been doing this for too long. He was doing it for too long before the Orange Man hit the scene. I hear he's been doing like alright for himself still. Well, these are one I still hear about, partially because it's like him having to deal with some bullshit from people assuming he's associated with the other guy. But yeah, I'd like watching those other things. And yeah, that's kind of like, because Hearthstone lacks a kind of something like a persistent ability to trade like Shadowverse. I think it was because it was like Trump StarCraft. Okay, Mage. I don't know the value of Mayor of Value Town's name. Yeah. I don't know the original reason. He had probably had some funny reason for it that was completely I'm pretty sure he said is completely unrelated to I mean, like, trump card is also a metaphor, because it's like your ace in the sleeve, your trump card, your hidden, I win now thing. So it can be applied to a lot of things, especially games, but also fights and whatever. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, because Hearthstone lacked a way to directly manipulate the board for obviously some classes were better because you had abilities like the abilities for the mage to ping a target, so obviously they could control things a bit. Whilst but most times you didn't have stuff like evolve, the evolve mechanics that Shadowverse has, so you can't always rely on your followers to trade with your opponent's followers. You can't be constantly removing followers. It's a very different type of game, which means board advantages, at least back when I was watching, which wasn't very long ago, so things might have changed. They might have added more removal things. Probably just added more removal and cheaper removal into the game. But you wouldn't be just always clearing the board, always, thus you'd be presenting responses to your opponent's board state, and then your opponent would have to decide if they're going to trade or go face, and all various, which is, I can understand those kind of decisions, but when you've also combined that with a bunch of these random damage effects and other RNG effects, I found it kind of created a bad feedback. If it had less RNG in it, I think it would be a lot better, but this is the card game that printed Yogg-Saron, so who gives a shit? Oh, that was funny. Just the card that he put in everyone's deck, because it might just win you the game from literally any position, whatever. If you're not aware about Hearthstone, Yogg-Saron was a card that says that it was a... Yeah, they did nerf him to oblivion, but it took them a while. It took them too long. And even then, it was still kind of yeah. I don't know if they nerfed him. It's random bullshit go, basically. He says, for every spell that you have cast this game, cast a random spell. And some of those spells include, deal 10 damage to a target. And Yogg-Saron will randomly pick those targets. You don't get to pick the targets from Yogg. So it could possibly, there is a chance that, Yogg goes, I will deal 30 damage to my opponent's face. That's very small, very unlikely. You can also deal 30 damage to your own face. It was the supreme gambling. Usually what he'd do, though, is he'd wipe the board and draw you cards. So you'd use, there's usually more... Because it's from the total spell pool. It's from all the classes, everything random, no restrictions, whatever, and it's a neutral card, so you can play it in any class. And so you'd put him in the deck because, worst case, he would wipe the board and draw you a bunch of cards, because a lot of spells do shit to the board and draw you cards. And maybe he'd win you the game. Maybe you'd lose the game, but if you're playing him, you're probably on the way to losing anyway. So it's just yeah, there was no downside to not using them. They did eventually... the nerf I saw, I don't know if they nerfed him further, but they said they made it so that if one of the spells removes Yogg-Saron for whatever reason, whether it's bounce or transforms or kills him for a method, then you stop getting random spells. Whatever spell got rid of Yogg, that's the last spell. Yeah, that was the nerf I saw that happened. So I don't know if they nerfed him further, and that made him deeply unreliable because it was a very decent chance that he blows himself up. Yeah, but before he just kept going and was nah. But yeah, but then they still make a lot of random, not it was pronounced as Yogg-Saron, but then I keep saying random effects here's this there's this alchemist character, or alchemist theme, where you get to brew potions, but the potions are randomly generated, so how do you play around that when there's, various combinations of potions to make? Kazakus, that's the guy. Yeah. There's how do you play... You're already dealing with a full card game meta. How do you deal about your opponent getting a random selection of potions with a very large choices, with various generally quite powerful effects that they're randomly selected from? It would be Like, you had your selection of what mana cost you'd want the potion to be, and then you'd have various effects. I don't know if they keep doing it for other stuff as well, and it's all keep right. Like, if it was Project in Shadowverse, you would be like, okay, you get to make the potion, but you get always these 3 choices, and then people would be able to play around it, because it'd be much more simple. And there's basically all mechanics like that. Like, kind of, it was like a powered-up Kazakus? Oh, God. But yeah, that's the kind of shit that kind of, like, put me off Hearthstone. Because it wasn't, and why I like Shadowverse, because Shadowverse has had very RNG mechanics. There are, of course, like, effects that target random enemy followers, and sometimes you're doing a coin flip, but a lot of the time, 2 reasons. A lot of the time, the effects aren't quite as random, and also because Shadowverse has a much smaller board space, it only has 5 board slots instead of Hearthstone's 7. The amount of followers targets on a board at any one time can be pretty low, so the RNG elements aren't quite that as pronounced, and you can do a lot of mitigation to kind of like reduce the amount of RNG in there. Like, there was one card that was it was a Swordcraft card that if you met his special conditions for, he transformed into a special form, and that special form at the end of your turn would do a massive amount of randomly assigned damage. It was like, pick a random target, do 10 damage, do damage equal to his power to it. And that was the most RNG Shadowverse has ever gotten, and that card was considered complete trash. It was a complete meme. Like, it could win you the game on turn 5 if you were lucky enough, but the odds were, it was like, your best odds were him being on a completely empty board. Because if it was any other followers on the board, it was just going to be a waste of turn, because he couldn't attack, he couldn't interact with the board otherwise. And he was just as likely to target your own shit as your opponents. And he's in Swordcraft, which is the class that usually likes having a wide board of its own. So it was just like, it was kind of like a fun bullshit nonsense during the time when it was a particularly bullshit nonsense set. It was a set themed around tarot cards. This guy was the Chariot tarot card, if you were interested. And there was a bunch of really funny cards. Like, that set was kind of busted, but it was also really funny. Like, Forestcraft got a really, really funny card that was, like, absolutely bizarre in the kind of weird way. Where it was Wolfram the Hanged Man, I think. I stood up, sorry. Sit back down. And right, what he did is, I can't remember if you had to fulfill like a special condition, or if you had to just play him for an certain enhance. I think it was just an enhanced cost. But what he did, very funny, is he deleted your own deck, replaced the bottom, made it so that when you decked out, you won instead of lost, and then filled your deck with a copy of every single card your opponent has played this game. And it was the funniest alt-win con in the game. I think he did also wipe the board as well, so you did actually have a chance of doing something. Oh no, he put a spell into your hand. If you played him for his enhance, he put a spell into your hand that you could then use that did this thing. I think it would, like, do some level of board interaction, so you weren't completely screwed. But yeah, like, when there was it was a really funny countermeasure to when there was a lot of Runecraft decks in the meta, because if you play Shadowverse World Beyond, and even if you played Shadowverse before, you know, Runecraft likes to draw a lot of cards. It's the mage-type class that has a lot of card draw effects, because it kind of it plays a lot of cards, it draws a lot of cards. That's kind of like what's its identity been. So, obviously, it's a really good matchup. It has the Hanged Man effect has a really good matchup against it, because they're going to play a bunch of card draw, and you want to draw cards, because if you get through your now very small deck, it's like 12 cards or so. you get to draw cards. And that was brilliant. That was brilliant nonsense. I hopefully won't be bringing any kind of like that shit to Worlds Beyond for a good while. It's a very much nonsense that you want to see later on in the game's life cycle. But that was fun. I am kind of like curious to see what Worlds Beyond does next, because the next Worlds Beyond, I guess this was inevitable. It was going to be me rambling about Shadowverse. So the next World Beyond set is all about bringing back the Omen of 10 stuff from the little teaser they did, their little silhouette teaser of both sets. The teaser for Infinity Evolved was a silhouette of Phylene, whilst the teaser for the third set, they haven't revealed the name yet, was a silhouette of Majiraben, the Omen of One, who was another one of those silly gimmicky cards. You didn't really see him in competitive play because he was a card that required you only have single copies of your deck, of other cards in your deck. So that'll probably be a thing they bring back for Worlds Beyond, but again, it might still just be a bit of a silly thing. It'll probably be very hard to do to make like a good deck out of that with only 3 sets, probably. If you have to only have singleton cards, so any kind of like singleton decks like that will be not particularly flexible. It might become a thing later, but I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't think we have anything to worry about unless they make him way too strong, but they probably won't. They're smart enough. They'll future-proof it a bit. But yeah, it's interesting. I do wonder what it is because like the Swordcraft character of the Omen of the 10 Octrice was her theme was all about avarice, so she was constantly stealing shit. And she had a really cool ability where she literally took the last words off another follower on the board. Like, can be enemy followers mainly, I think. I can't remember if she could steal allies ones, but she'd literally take the last words, and they would lose their last words, and those would become her last words. It'd be interesting to see if they bring that back to her when she comes back in the next set. I don't really remember that many of the other omens. You're trying to survive, you're gonna go to bed. Good night, good night, Shogun. What I need to do is I really need to get like a chat button 3D model. I need to like find someone to make one, because then I could have it and then have it both as a prop on stream and a prop in VRChat. That would be really cool. Maybe I can make like a simple avatar out of it. I'll probably have to get some rights mangle all that. That would be cool, but I think that's definitely a bit above what I can do, like having like custom chat avatars for you have to have a custom world for that and everything, and that's a whole load of stuff I'd have to set up, but I just don't have the resources for. It's hot. But yeah, it'll be like it'll be interesting to see how Forest Craft develops, because their Omen was the Omen of Unkilling, which was like, you must weaken your opponent but never kill them, which is very war crimes. But that means they had a lot of effects of reducing enemy followers' attack, which turns out to be quite a powerful effect, because if an enemy follower doesn't have a particularly nasty effect, if you reduce their attack to 0, then they're just a dead space on the board, and your opponent might do some awkward things. But also they had like, if follower has 0 attack, kill it also. So Unkilling, a bit of an awkward name. So that would probably help like more control-y variants of Forest rather than combo Forest, because they tend to be a bit more expensive than the combo cards. So we'll see. But they might still end up being Roach, because when you have so few cards, you might still end up needing Roach, because Roach is just good. The other thing, I think not supposed to like expect too much from the set, like shaking things up in terms of core cards. I still think like Runecraft's probably still going to run Anangrea and Kuon. And probably the Dirt Man as well. I don't think it might shake up things on the terms of like the Dirt side. They might have enough more spell boost power that is like, okay, you have to run more spell boost cards to make this deck consistent and competitive rather than running the weird hybrid version. The hybrid version might still stick around, but there might be a more like pure spell boost might be a more powerful thing in the meta, depending on how it develops, especially if they give like they probably won't. I don't think they'll do it this early, but they might start putting in max health reduction. They'll probably do it eventually. It was a thing in the previous games where you could reduce... Like, they technically already do with the Masteros Reckoning, but that's, like, a very niche effect. Rather than, like, some of the stuff that was more gradual. Like, good old Carol from Princess Connect. Nah. Kind of a wild card when you think about it. Yeah, let's have a card that can reduces your opponent, this on fanfare reduces your opponent's max health by 5, and then pings them for 1 5 times if you spell boosted it enough. There were some wild things back in the day. Yeah, I can't imagine them bringing back like more health reduction for a long time. So we'll probably see like, well, I think they'll probably introduce in the next set is some kind of anti-healing tech, just like more stuff that's like blunts how much healing is. I think that will hurt Hybrid Rune decently enough, because currently it's the big like annoying thing about Hybrid Rune is it's so survivable. They've got so much healing. If you have a way to like reduce that even by a little bit, then it can work out pretty well. Like effects like Burnight's effect, or just stuff that says like for a turn they only heal by 1. That's the stuff that they've had before. Talking so much about Shadowverse. Talk more about Shadowverse than I do on the Shadowverse streams. I don't really know what else to talk about, really. Anything going on in your world, chat buns? Anything feel free to mention any shit you're dealing with. Come on, we're all friends here. You wish. You seem to be very busy these days, Isaac. I hope you have time to yourself in the near future. Because I have a vested interest in that, because when you have time to yourself, you draw nice pictures that I like looking at. You're all very... I'm trying to be kind. It's good to be kind. You know, I want to do one today, but my arm is a down. Alright, yourself. I need to stretch. Let me sit up. I'm stretching without a redeem because I felt like I really needed to do that. Yeah. But yeah, I need to I really just gotta focus on these. I kind of need to think about what. I guess if I just keep trying various things to improve, then one of them will stick, and then I can keep trying other things again, and then more will stick, and I'll feel better about myself. Things will keep improving and sticking, and I'll feel amazing. That's the plan. I think I'm getting better though. Ever since I had to have fillings done, I've gotten a bit better at taking care of my teeth. They are really good fillings though. You can't see shit. You can't literally completely invisible to the naked eye fillings. I did have to sit in a dentist's chair for an hour. And problem with being number tall was a lot. Number tall? Sorry, what? One of the problems with being very tall is that a lot of things like dentist chairs and stuff aren't quite large enough for you. And so, if you have to you have to lie down, and despite the fact that they're made to be very comfy to an average height person, you have to lie down in one for like an hour, it can get quite painful. Because it's too small, and like the headrest is kind of like digging into the back of my head a little bit, because it's just not quite at the right position. And I'm sitting here with, they had a big, like, it was all real fancy stuff. They had like spacers and a big plastic sheet whilst they were doing a load of weird stuff in my teeth to fit these fillings. And so, like, that part didn't hurt me because I was under anesthetic. But yeah, it was really just kind of like, I was hoping it was over, because it was getting really painful on the back of my head. But it was good. Like, this is one benefit of only being able to get private dentists is like, if you're going for a private dentist, you might as well get a decent one. Because the non-decent one's not going to be that much cheaper, to be honest. Yeah. Oops. Why did I do that? But yeah. But of course, it would be preferable if I could get that street free. But well, at least this is where I'm always like, oh, I can't complain about too much shit. I am in a reasonably financially okay enough position to afford a private dentist fillings. So, I'm doing like loads of eye motions, even though that's, not tracked at all, because it's VR, there's nothing looking at my eyes. This background music has been kind of so. I really hope this isn't some kind of copyrighted. I'm assuming this is kind of some kind of royalty-free background track. Just downloaded from Dover Syndrome or whatever. Probably Dover Syndrome. It's almost always Dover Syndrome. You know what's sad? The guy who, the Kevin MacLeod, the guy who makes all those royalty-free tracks, started doing AI shit. That's sad. But like, I never use any of his shit. I use Dover Syndrome, so. It's made by a variety of artists, I'm pretty sure, and I'm fairly certain doesn't have AI nonsense, but, And even then, I don't really use it on a lot of my game stuff. Like, I only use a Dover Syndrome track on, like, my chatting screen, I think? I think that's the only one I still use. The rest is just Armored Core music. This is FromSoft, like, one day, I fear that FromSoft are gonna come down on my ass and say, you can't do that. I'm going to say, are you going to release Armored Core 4 Answer again? And they're going to tell me no, and I'm like, damn right, you can't do shit! And then they'll still sue me. They'll still make me take down everything. That's probably not going to happen. I don't think they're that litigious a company. So this is nice. Being able to sit here and resting my hands on my boobs. What else is there to talk about? Only been less than 2 hours chatting. I felt like I've been talking for ages, but it's only been 2 hours. Wow. I was going to say, once again, I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. But yeah, dentist was alright. It was fine. It was long. You don't even get sweets at the just. You know what? I'm really going through it with is I have to hold back on eating sweets. I have realized a lot of my like worst moments come from after I have eaten an entire pack of sweets, because I can't, like, it's one of those terrible vicious cycles where it's like, I'm depressed, so I eat a large pack of sweets, and then I feel a little bit, I feel better for a little bit, and then I feel really sick, and then I feel really tired, and then I feel more depressed, and then I sleep until I need to eat, and then I don't have the time to actually cook proper food. It depends on the sweet, you have less self-control than some others, yeah. Like, anything kind of like, with me it's mostly just any kind of, most sweet things really. Like, I will devour entire bars of chocolate, entire packs of, like, more candy-like sweets. My main vice is, you might find it unsurprising. Entirely, I wouldn't go for, not much custard or ice cream, but mine's like, strawberry laces. Or cables. Look, I'm a rabbit, it makes sense. Just a lot of strawberry flavored sweets in particular, just like, I will just like go, and then I'll be like, oh, and then I'll be like, I hope you enjoyed that little performance. Yeah, it is just... Yeah, I gotta be better about that. I gotta be careful. I can't buy bags of snacks. Week 3 of a low-grade tummy ache. No! Simple syrup from sumac. It is like, I don't have the energy to like make shit, so I still have to like buy stuff. Every time it starts to bed, you go, "Oh, time for a treat." And I'm sort of like, yeah, I feel that. Like, what mostly ends up, I notice, is if I have too much pizza, I get heartburn. Because pizza's really fatty, especially if I get, like, a takeaway pizza. Those are really fatty, and that increases your risk of heartburn, especially when you drink as much coffee as I do. So I'm like, I have to stop eating pizza, but then it's so easy. So easy to just get pizza. So easy, I can like... This saturated fat and simple carbs, yeah. It's like, it's too much effort to, like, I can make pizza. I do have, like, I could make the dough from scratch, but I can't be bothered, but then I can buy the dough, and but then, like, the dough is, like, I have to actually go somewhere where that actually sells the dough, which is not my easy corner shop that sells just pre-made pizzas. And that you just shove in the oven. And then, yeah, I don't want to bother cooking most times, especially not in this weather. See, I live in this fucking a flat, very similar. This is actually a very similar kind of like site, slightly bigger, probably. Pastry is tedious to make, only boil and salt. I mean, but yeah, when you live in a studio, actually no, this is like, thinking about it, this is actually way bigger than my flat. But when you live in a studio flat with a kitchenette, when you cook, you make the entire flat really warm, and in the middle of the summer, that sucks. So I just haven't been able to make anything that like takes a long time to cook because I don't want to boil myself alive. Or like stuff that I have to put effort, because at least if I'm warming up the flat, I don't want to have to be doing anything. I don't have to want to be stirring or anything, or constantly adjusting whatever, or already being tired from doing stuff. So just any stuff that I can just throw in the oven, throw in the air fryer. But then that stuff turns to be particularly unhealthy, and then I feel, oh, no rabbit stew. No, Phantom. Bad Phantom. I don't usually have stews out of everything. I usually find as most autistic people, I'm very sensitive to like food textures. And so a lot of things that usually go in stews are textures I don't particularly care for, and I really don't care for when they're slightly mushy. So I don't usually enjoy most stews. But I suppose if it was a fairly like meaty stew, and if it had like carrots are one things I'll enjoy in pretty much any form, really. Eating like potato broccoli soups with tomato paste broth. I do like broccoli. I do like broccoli a lot. Like my go-to vegetables for like literally everything is broccoli and carrots. I'm one of those people who really doesn't like the like texture of tomatoes. So as long as the tomato is in solid form, I'm not a big fan of it. Powdered cumin. Usually when I'm like, if I'm just trying to like spice up a soup or something, I do the very British thing of Worcestershire sauce. And to answer your question, Phantom, probably not, because I don't want to do things in the morning. I'm pretty much just relegating myself to evening streams because there's too much shit I need to get done in the day, so any kind of like good morning chat thing is probably not going to happen. I don't think I can really do a chat stream every week. I think this is something I do very occasionally. Like, I don't think I'm the type to like really, because I feel like I just end up repeating myself a lot, so I'd rather just do it like once, just when I feel like it, really. Spinach on pizza. I'm like really not that adventurous with pizza. I'm just like, get me that pepperoni pizza. And people will say, Jesus Christ, you are whiter than the sun. Is the sun that white? I guess because it's very, very bright light. It only looks like yellowy and fiery when you're looking at it through abstraction. But yeah, no. That's probably also why when I eat lots of pizza, I get lots of heartburn, because of all the stuff in the pepperoni. I do like spicy pizzas a lot, which also doesn't help with heart. I haven't had heartburn in a while, so you know I've been good. Yeah, I do like spicy pizzas, but usually it's some kind of cured meat pizza of some variety. Like, I could happily enjoy a nice margarita pizza, but I don't want to. I might as well, if I'm getting a pizza, I might as well have something on it. I'm not really like one of those people who says, oh, you can only have certain things on pizza. You can have whatever the fuck you want on pizza. As long as you like it, what the matter is. You can have your pineapple, you can have your whatever the fuck other people are doing, I don't know. Like, I will probably look at it and go, I am not eating that. I will not eat. I am not a big fan. Pizza is freedom. You can do so many things with pizza. It is simply a vehicle for which you to put ingredients of your own choosing on. You cannot stand it. I love fish. I don't know why I haven't had like a fishy pizza. Like, I know anchovies are a pretty good one, and I like anchovies. I like little salty little things. I'm a big fish eater. I love me fish and chips. The smell more than anything. I have a very poor sense of smell. I don't have no sense of smell, but it's it might end up like, it's not something anyone's been able to prove, but it's like theorized that it's something to do with my autism, because whilst hypersensitivity is common with autism, what's lesser known is hyposensitivity, which is the opposite. It's a reduced feeling in certain senses, and it's much less common, but it does the thing, and it's probably why my sense of smell is low, because I can smell things. I can smell particularly strong things, like I can, if I stick my nose in the coffee cup, I can smell coffee. But I can also smell, thankfully, I can also smell dangerous things, like gas and what like. But like, there's a lot of things people go, can you smell this? And I'll go, nope. You know, very sensitive olfactories, yeah. There can be various reasons. I could also just have fucked up nerves in my nose. That's also a possible reason, but it's like, I've not had any kind of medical diagnosis saying you have fucked up nerves in your nose. I also haven't had my nose looked at, but it's once I learned about how The thing is, if it was fucked up nerves in my nose, then I'd likely have no sense of smell at all, or a different sense of smell, rather than a very weak sense of smell. That's very rare. That's what's odd about it. It's just a weak sense of smell. And I can't smell things. I can get like small hints of things. Like if I walk into like a soap shop where all the fancy smell soaps, then I will smell it. But like if you just hand me a bar of soap, I'll have a very, very faint hint of it, but I won't really notice what else. But yeah, that might be why I love fish, because I can't smell anything about fish. Unless it's like extremely strong, unless it's like oyster sauce level of fish smell, then I don't smell anything noticeable from fish, I should say. Because it's not to say I don't smell the fish at all. I don't notice it as a bad, strong smell. And like, smell is a part of taste, and when I describe the taste of fish, it lines up with what other people say. So that says, but my like thing that I get really good is textures. It's a shame because some fish are great for omega-3 fats. That is true. Fish is good for you. It's good to eat fish if you like eating fish. You can just fucking use supplements or whatever if you don't need to. I guess this is the thing. If your diet is sneezing. Like, thank you, Ezra. You like doing the stretch redeems in the VR, people. I wonder why. But yeah, it's like, don't be afraid to fill in the gaps in your diet with supplements. Obviously, having full vitamin supplements instead of eating anything healthy is bad. But like, let's go with those vitamin D tablets. Get those fucking omega-3 fish oil tablets. It's better than it is better than nothing. Yeah. It's better to have them as kind of like a balanced thing. Like, if you think, oh, I'm not quite having enough, like you can have, if you have some fruit and vegetables a day, but you don't think enough, it helps. Obviously, the best is to eat a balanced diet, have your fruit and vegetables and all that. That's the best source of it, but like, supplements are just pretty handy to have in their various forms. Like, I take a multivitamin every morning, and that keeps me. I'll always be like, oh, I felt really shit today. Why did I feel like that? And then I'll realize like, I have not taken a multivitamin today. And even if I do take the multivitamin, I'll still feel a bit shit because my diet's still a bit shit. My general healthy eating is still a bit bad, but it's like, it's better than not. If you have like food trauma, if you just can't, if it's literally something you can't eat for whatever reason, either you're allergic or you just, it repulses you. And you fool, Phantom, there's no head pats in VR. I forgot that, but that's more fool for me for not turning the redeem off. At least it means I won't have to worry about accidentally, I'll just have to remember to actually go into the redeem. Oh god, I'll have a massive queue of, channel points redeems to finalize, because I haven't checked that in months. Fine, I'll head back myself. But yeah, currently don't use the head back. You happy now? Biggest thing to avoid is the simple cars and process fans, yeah. Like, I don't try and... You have too much PTSD, Glad you're happy, Phantom. Glad you're happy. Maybe... You eat stuff like fruits, but I just had, I won't ask you to go into that too much. But yeah, there can be various reasons, and having a stress response to it can also be... A stress or trauma response to it is just as valid as having an allergy or something. And yeah, like, I try not to worry too much about, like... like carb counting or whatever, because I feel like that would just add another layer of stress to my life. I know it works for some people, but for me, I'm just like, no. I just want, I think, and also I'm not like overweight or anything. I'm just unwell. I'm just unfit. I don't really need. I do need to eat slightly better, but I don't really need to like diet. I mostly need to exercise. That's the main thing I'm lacking. I'm still sending out Foxgirl House Maze applications. If only. If only. I do need to tidy my flat a bit. This VRChat world is unfortunately not quite is a bit tidier than mine. Also, you know, a lot fancier. This is kind of like, if I did have all the money, I would like a flat of this kind of size. Just like a little bit like it's decently bigger than what I have, but also just like so I'm not like 3 feet away from things. You can watch, yeah, like lots of ways to exercise. And you just got to find whatever works for you. Like you can watch videos, you can listen to podcasts, you can use whether you go to the gym or do it at home, whether you just do a run outside, or you use something like I think it's like VR workout world, but VR workout games, even probably VRChat workout worlds. There's probably like social gather. I think there are like social gatherings in certain areas where you can go like join people and do those kind of like outside calisthenics things that you kind of see people doing in the park. I don't know if you see people doing that in the park. We've got a bunch of usually old people doing stretches and stuff outside, and it looks like rather fun. You can do that in VRChat. There's people that do that. Only you have a VR headset, yeah. Obviously, you can still, like, you don't have to, be fully immersed in VR for that. If you just want the social aspect, you can just have it on desktop, and whilst your avatar won't be doing the exercise motions, you'll still be, doing the exercise on yourself. You can still be, like, standing by doing your exercise by your computer with a bunch of people, so you can still have that kind of social. There's a lot of stuff you can do in VRChat in desktop mode that's also quite good. And anyway, you happy now? Wish there were some VTubers that do exercise videos. Yeah, that'd be cool. Now. Hey, wait a sec? What do you mean, wait a sec? There probably is some, like, exercise VTubers, but I don't know. They're probably hard to find. I don't know where to look for them. Alright, come over here, Mr. Tango. Mwah! Special. No one's gonna want those. I'm being too kind to you. Yeah. I'm getting very now we're getting into the extremely parasocial aspects of the stream. I give the camera a little kiss. Maybe I should. I feel like when I'm doing the redeems, I should up the increase. Yeah, this flat is really, like, as I said, this, in terms of, like, looks and functionality, this flat is really good. It's just like, it doesn't have the interactivity. Like a lot of VR worlds have like little things you can pick up and stuff you can do. This one is just a visual flat with a screen. It's got some pens over there, and you can change the theme of it, and it's got some mirrors. Oh, you won't be able to see this. Yeah. turn a mirror on and look at myself in the mirror. You can't see the mirror because the camera's not there. I can, if I zoom around it, look. Well, it's not really working, but look, now there's two of me. That's the one thing about VRChat worlds, just mirrors everywhere. Because people like to look at themselves. It's very, it is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. One thing you do notice is, of course, on, you know, especially for beds, there are a lot. People have very fancy mirror setups for beds. This one doesn't. This one just has a mirror on the ceiling. So this world is like very pretty but very basic. But that's all right. It's like it's good for just like this sitting around and chatting kind of thing. But if I wanted to like, and I said this screen over here is like an actual screen I could put videos and streams up on. So definitely a good world for like hanging out with a friend. I've heard of it, though I've never been in an VRChat. Do you just mean to say VRChat world and you mashed on your keyboard accidentally? VRChat. Yeah, there's loads of things, and like if you look at my birthday stream, that's like probably the most. That's a really good example of like a proper big hangout world where there's loads of activities, loads of interactivities. Because what's cool about VRChat is what a lot of people will do is someone will make like an asset that does a specific function. Like someone will make a screen watching asset for watching YouTube videos or streams or whatever. Someone will make pen assets, someone will make chair node assets or whatever, or drinks. You've got a travel keyboard and it causes an annoying day, but yeah. Travel keyboards are kind of, any kind of wireless keyboard really is kind of like that. What you pay for the convenience, I guess. But, yeah, and so a lot of what you end up seeing is a lot of worlds having these similar functions where they have like they'll have a lot of worlds have a screen to play videos on. You can also use it for music and like, and like you saw in the Bandits Barcade that I did my birthday stream in, there was lots of like various things that sometimes kind of clashed. Like you could go from the kitchen to the bar, and you'd have two different. You'd have the kitchen would have this very, very detailed coffee machine set up, and then the bar would have these very low poly drinks machines, tap pourers set up, because it's all just like people just either selling or share. I think that they're mostly selling. I don't know if they usually like pay money. I don't know how the economy works, but like all these assets that other creators then use and fit together into their world, make sure. And then there's also making everything working. So this place is just very, very simple. It's just it is basically a just a visual room. There's not much interaction with it. But it does look nice, and aside for the sake of just sitting around and talking, or just watching a stream without faffing around too much, it is very cool. And you can kind of do whatever. That also just looks really nice. Well, let's go. Yep. I'm grabbing you. I'm gonna go look outside. We got this cool skylight in here. Yeah, with all this nice bloom, there's a big cyberpunk city skyline. And turn around and look out the window. Just dragging chat around the edges. Yo! You're over here. I don't have just... I need to figure out is how to have hand gestures. Not got you on the leash. Strap-ons don't even have necks. Fools. But yeah, like what I need to figure out is how to have hand gestures that come around. Why the neck is your preferred way. Yeah, that's fairly common, isn't it? You're projecting again? I'm sorry. It's okay, guys. You're allowed. The leash goes around the entire... Yeah, that'd be funny, yeah. It's just like a, just like round the middle. Have you ever heard of an octopus with a neck? I mean, octopus do still have, like... I guess arguably octopuses do have a neck, but also... How would you leash an octopus? It could just, like, squeeze through. So, that seems like a futile effort. I guess if you make some... You have to do something really... That's the thing here. If you wanted to, like, leash an octopus, you'd have to basically throw a hook through it. Because anything else, it could just squeeze through to... basically small. So, it'd be a bit cruel to leash an octopus. Don't leash octopuses. I guess that's basically... That's just fishing at that point. Yeah, I would like to have, like, being able to point at things, because currently I can't have... Currently, the annoying thing about default hand gestures in the VRChat stuff is it has the, is it ties them also to expression, so if I want to point at something, then it puts a particular expression on my face, and I'd rather just be able to point at something, so I currently just have gestures turned completely off. There have plenty of people want to stick sharp objects through me. If you say so. Is it you here? But, yeah. Moving a bit further back. We're a bit too close. Sorry, Chatmans. Too close. We've been going on for over 2 hours. I don't know when I want to say this. I don't really feel like stopping for now. Make sure not to clip out the window. I think there's... Oh, no, I can. I think there is, like, a reasonable amount of collision for, like, various parts of the model. It seems to be a very collision-heavy world. We've got some plants here. I do kind of like... I've been trying to at least, like, go be amongst nature occasionally when I go, whenever, even if I'm just going out to the shops, I can go to, like, make a detour past the park or whatever. It's not, I guess it's not a proper park, it's a square that has, like, trees and shit in it. But it's nature, there's some squirrels there. No bunnies, though, sadly. I'm the only rabbit around. But, motion restored. My Himijosi digital rabbit is indeed digital. Exactly. But, yeah. Because I did, like, see some shit about... There's so many little rabbits with it. Oh, lovely. There used to be a lot of rabbits. I used to live somewhere with a lot of rabbits around. Like, there's loads of rabbits around England. We're all over the place. Almost as common as squirrels. There's too many rabbits where you live, to be honest. No such thing. I mean, it's probably like it could be a problem, but like I could never say that rabbits are too much of a thing. You're asking the wrong. If you're talking to the wrong person to say there's too many rabbits around you. I'm sorry. I'm not going to allow such talk here. But, yeah, there's like squirrels in the park. Like, there's a small little square park, so there's not that much nature, so there's only a couple of squirrels. Really. But they're nice to see, even if they are the grey bully squirrels. I tried to say something, but I've completely forgotten what, so I'm not going to say it. But yeah, so I've got a few, like, ideas of what I want to, like, do. I have almost the exact perfect amount of rabbits around me. I have seen your pictures of rabbits, and I'm like, oh, I always love seeing pictures of rabbits. You can always make me happy by, showing me a rabbit. I am starting to get a bit too dry. Where's my water bottle? Hang on, I need to... This will... Oh no, it doesn't. Turn on the Oh no, the spotlights don't work in VRChat. Have to... There it is. I've got myself turned around a little bit. Like... I'm grabbing you. We're going over here. We're going to the kitchen. I don't know why I want to go to the kitchen, but we're going to the kitchen. Taking out a change of scenery. We're over here now. There we go. But I can move a bit further back. But yeah, it's... Life's going. Things are generally going. I'm pretty... happy. Well, I'm just looking around this kitchen now. Well, I like doing this. This was fun. This was just like a nice little chat. People were active. People were saying hi. So it wasn't me just trying desperately to talk to an empty space, which is what I was worried about. And I'm heading out to the asymmetrical PvP salt mine shortly. Oh, God. Which one's the asymmetrical PvP salt mine? Oh, is that Dead by Daylight? So many people into Dead by Daylight. Definitely not a game for me, but I understand the appeal. It's like when you say asymmetrical PvP, it's like pretty much just Dead by Daylight, really. None of the other ones really kind of... I don't know if there's any others that really stuck around as much. Or they were just very similar to Dead by Daylight, for whatever reason. One of the angriest... I feel like most... I think that's the kind of game that kind of like produces very angry people. When they make Dead by Daylight, where you gotta fight various fathers. Oh, you're onto something there, Taco. Maybe you should look into getting that realized. Oh. It is kind of annoying that this world isn't very interactive and I can't pick up anything. You cannot win a laser game with the opposing side being shitty about it. Yeah. I mean, I realized I hadn't been... I kind of like... Because I kind of realized that was kind of like the thing that puts me off a lot of like playing team-based multiplayer games of any kind. Because like I uninstalled Mecha Break. I haven't been playing that because I just realized it was just... As much as I enjoyed playing it, other people made it worse. And they're just like... It's always kind of like a damper on the experience when someone's in the chat's just like, oh my god, fuck you, or says some nonsense slurs or whatever. It's just like, oh, fuck off. And then I get like salty because someone's been stupid on my team, and I'm like, yeah. I think it's like one of those games that's just overly grindy. Not like it's grindy, but like that's one of those. It's just the usual live service case of get called queerphobic slurs at least 3 times a week on Dead by Daylight. Wow, I would not fucking stand that. I would either find a way to turn the chat off permanently or just uninstall the game. I'd be like, fuck off. I don't need that energy in my life. This is one of the great things about playing because I play Shadowverse and I play I play fighting games. That's the great thing about 1v1s is like you don't have to listen to your opponent in 1v1s at all. Never realize all masochists. That makes sense. I don't have to, but I will never. Like if someone tries to message me after a game, I'm not going to. You know from experience. That makes sense. If someone tries to message me after like a game, I don't know. I don't know. You really. I don't know how the case of it happening. But like if you're playing, the thing is, if you're playing like Grand Blue in lobbies where people can talk to you, most people are pretty chill. The best is us Dead by Daylight players. We hate ourselves, each other, and the game we play. That's just every online game. That's not Dead by Daylight. That's also League of Legends and Dota and everything like that. The fastest way to hate literally everything is to play a team-based multiplayer game. But yeah, like, I'm gonna DM you non-contextual toxic messages just to spice things up. Thank you, IceV. I will not pay attention until after the stream. If you are actually doing that, or you're just doing a bit, aren't you? You're just being silly. Ah. But yeah, like, I just... Yeah, 1v1 games I just get to go. You are doing a bit. You're also doing a buy. Are you now? Good for you. I hope that happens. But yeah. Your Freudian slip. No, maybe I don't have to. I think you're getting a bit. I feel like that joke's getting a bit mean-spirited, Phantom. I'd stop there while you're at it. Like both type of girls. True. Fancy a try? Try? Monster Hunter try? I never played that. I played 3 Ultimate. That was my first Monster Hunter. Which I guess is Try, but it's it's basically a later version of Try. It's like Try was on the still on the PS2, wasn't it? It was only like 3 Ultimate that went on the DS, right? I don't know. That was fun. I love Monster Hunter. I might go back and get back into Wilds, see if they've optimized it somewhat. And like, I've heard good things about the latest patch, so maybe it's less annoying. Brain thought forming. Hear no evil. See no evil. Speak no evil. I don't know what I'm doing there. I think I probably need to wrap up because I'm getting tired. My throat's getting a bit sore. I need to go. And like, I'm running out of shit to say. What do I say? Do I talk like I don't have shit to say about Monster Hunter. I just like playing Monster Hunter. I don't have any wild things about it. I like Monster Hunter for Ultimate. That was my favorite one. Let the other ones after it are also good, but I don't like them as much. But also, I'm too used to modern conveniences, so I can't go back to playing 4 Ultimate. Can we just make 4 Ultimate but with modern control schemes? But yeah, thank you for coming to watch. I hope you all have a pleasant time. I'll be a bit of time sorting out the raid, because I'll just go onto the end screen and then I have to take off my VR headset, go onto Twitch and do all that nonsense, but that will be fine enough, easy enough to do. So, I don't know who we're raiding yet, but we'll be raiding someone. And thank you all for watching. As I said, this went far better than I expected. I was expecting to just be... I didn't know so many people would be here, would sit around here to listen and here to chat. So that makes me very happy. As I said, this won't be a frequent thing because I feel like if I try and do it too frequently, I'll have things. But like, I also feel more confident in like just talking to people. So this is good. And maybe I probably might do like more adventurous VR streams, like more exploring worlds and stuff. So I think whilst I'm kind of like, the problem with trying to do VR streams is like a lot of VR games, there aren't that many of them, but VRChat has a lot of stuff to enjoy and stream about, so I can do a lot of stuff here. Basically, VRChat alone is basically worth a VR headset, to be honest. It's so cool. But I will see you all later. You'll see me meditate for a section because I have to go into the menus for a bit. But, yeah, you can still hear me. And that's the dash bash I use. You could rope someone to explore. Yeah, is that I might... I've got a few friends. Most of the people who come with me, so you get to see me meditating whilst because I'm in Steam menus now. Other things, but yeah, let me just... as I say, I need to stop now. I need to... Bye-bye, I can sort things out another time. Bye-bye, see you all tomorrow for, hang on, I know. If I go to, end screen. I'll see you all tomorrow for Urban Myth Dissolution Center. I'm gonna try being a bit more talkative. I want to try doing, like, voice for characters, so hopefully I will have a lot of, like, lozenges and shit ready. But anyway, I need to go I'm gonna mute the microphone now whilst I go find someone to raid. See you tomorrow.